Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. As you can see, we're doing some foam rolling today. If you are feeling like you have some tightness, some fascia, or it's feeling like it's tight and a nice stretch, it's like, woof, you need that release. This is a fantastic tool to have. There are many different sizes and types. I have two. This one I like a little bit more when I am very tight because it's not as intense, but grab your foam roller, let's get started. We're gonna kind of just go over the full body. And we're also going to do some flossing technique, where there's movement within the foam rolling. Okay, so we're gonna start with the calf. Okay, so let's start left side calf. So come on down. You're gonna take that foam roller and you're just gonna place it essentially your calf right on top of that foam roller. And from right there, we're just gonna sit here. You get to hang out, you get to point and flex your toe. So with that, you'll notice if the foam roller is in the right spot, number one, and just go slow. Maybe you wanna add in some rotations through that ankle as well. Maybe changing that direction. We're gonna spend roughly a minute or so in each area. Okay, from here, you're gonna flex that foot and you're gonna take your, from your hip, you're gonna internally rotate that foot and then externally rotate. And then you're gonna feel, typically on the outside, if you do a little walking or a lot of running, that outside of the calf running from the ankle up towards the knee is usually pretty tight. Okay, so you are going to now come into external, and now we're going to do some rolling on the outside of that calf. So this is where you have to support yourself a little bit through those hands. You're just taking your time, rolling back and forth, even just working like 2 inches at a time, and just enjoying that. Good. We're going to roll back to the center of the calf and continue that motion forward and back. And you can change now to a pointed toe and notice the difference. Maybe increase from just below the knee to the top of the ankle. Oh my goodness. And that lower part of the calf, we're going to switch to that now. Rest your hips back down and then now rotate in flexion. So pull those toes up side to side. So now we're not on the calf. We're below it, above the ankle, kind of in that Achilles tendon area. Usually some stiffness and tightness going on there. We'll switch to the point and flex here. Ooh, I do a lot of walking, and obviously with the snow, winter boots, not the best for walking. Okay, we're gonna switch to the other calf. So right comes on. First thing we're gonna start with, again, is just the point and flex. Your calf is directly on that foam roller, pointing and flexing here. All of the good feels. And then start your ankle rotations. Try not to move the rest of the leg, just those ankles, or just the ankle, I guess, in this situation. Good. Okay, now from here, we're gonna come back to flexion, pull the toes in, and then we rotate from the hip. Internal, in, external, opening it up. So just getting that outside, inside, calf. Feels so good, especially I actually just got back from a walk, so this is what I should have done before the walk. That's okay. Outside, okay, we're gonna lift our hips off of the floor. We're gonna make that little rolling action, 2 to 3 inches forward and back, just kind of staying narrowed in on that area. Good, and then we're gonna come back to the calf, continue that rolling, get a little arm workout here by supporting yourself as well. Take rest whenever you need. And then we lower those hips back down, roll that foam roller towards the bottom of the leg. So just below the calf, come into that flexion and extension again with those toes, forward and back. So good. Take it from right to left, internal, external. That one always gets me. And you can also intensify this. I should have said this for the other side, by placing some load, so the opposite leg over top. If you're like this, I don't feel a lot doing this, you need to probably put some more load down onto that, and that gets too intense for me. I am. Okay, we're gonna switch here. We're gonna work our way up into the glutes, and then we'll give our wrists a little bit of a break. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna actually come right on up to that foam roller, take your right hand in behind you. We'll start on the right glute here, okay? And all you're gonna do is just kind of roll forward and back. That should feel really good. along the glute here. And you can go towards the low back a little bit, no problem. Take your time. And if you find a spot that you're like, ooh, that's a spot, hang out, take a big deep breath. And then maybe just go forward and back in that little spot to kind of stretch it out, massage it out, release it. And then you can come back to that slower rolling. I used to foam roll every day, probably a little bit much. And I wouldn't do anything crazy and I wouldn't do the full body. I would focus on the areas that I needed. And I did feel amazing. I have to start incorporating it back into my routine because it is something that I don't do often enough anymore. Okay, we're going to try to roll a little bit more onto the outside of the hip here. So we're not so much on that glute, just that little forward and back action, 2 to 3 inches. Noticing how the outside of that hip feels. Maybe you need to extend that leg out. And kind of play around with the positions as well. It's not the most comfortable. Oh, okay. And then we're going to switch to the left glute. So come on over. Left hand will support you. And we start with that nice rock forward and back for that left glute. Going slow. And again, if you find any of those points where you're like, ooh, I need to hang out there for a second, take a big breath in, big breath out, give that little inch massage, that flossing action of forward and back. So good. And we are going to give the wrists a little break in a moment here. We're going to switch to the quads, coming to the front of the legs. Come on to the outside of that hip. So you're just coming onto the side a little bit more, maybe extending that left leg out. And again, just that little flossing action here. So good. So needed. Okay. And from there, I could stay here for a lot longer. Obviously, you can pause the video and stay longer if you need it as well. We're going to switch to the tops of the legs. So you just flip yourself over into tabletop to start. Have that foam roller near the tops of your legs. And it's going to roll away, of course. And then we're going to just shift ourselves forward, almost into like a plank position. We're going to do both legs to start at the same time. So all we're going to do here is you're going to bring that foam roller so that it's towards your knees. Okay, so the base of the quads. We're just going to extend the legs, flex the feet, tap the toes, pull the heels in towards the glutes. Now, you might notice some interesting things going on. If you are like me and the quads are tight, this is very tough. Go slow here. Actually go slower than you think you need to. Roll your foam roller about 2 inches up. So now we're working our way towards the quads. We're not quite in the middle yet, but we're making our way there. Keep flexing in those heels towards the bum. Pull them in, tap the toes. Good. Roll yourself a little bit further up, making your way to the middle. Heels come in, tap the toes, heels come in, tap the toes, and then roll it up again. We're making our way up towards those hips. Heels come in, tap those toes. Heels come in, tap the toes. All right, one more. I'm gonna just wiggle my foam roller up because I'm running out of space here. Heels pull in. And you'll notice that likely towards the knees more than anything is where that stiffness was. Now we've made our way to the top. Pull the heels back in. Now what you're going to do is drop the legs over to the left, to the right. So you're doing like almost like a windshield wiper with those feet. Oh, okay. Maybe a little bit of rotation through those hips. Side to side. Roll that foam roller 2 inches back down towards the knees. So now we're going opposite way. Oh my goodness. All of the feels, dropping those feet from right to left. So good. Roll it down a little bit more. More into the middle of the quad here. Dropping from right to left. Good. Oh. And again, if you find that spot and you're like, yes, that is a good spot, breathe for a moment, wherever you are. Finish off with a couple more windshield wipers, about 20 more seconds. So wherever you're feeling like you need to be, maybe it's stillness and breathing. You're getting a little plank action as well here, if you haven't noticed that yet. We gave the wrists a break, but not the arms. Okay, so good. Now we're gonna make our way to the back. Release those legs down. Maybe give yourself a little child's pose for a moment just to release that. Okay, all of the feels, all of the feels. Coming onto the back. So we'll take that foam roller, just maneuvering myself here towards the low back to start. So right underneath of that low back, I'm gonna roll here, okay? And you're gonna lift your hips off of the floor. Again, you get that little workout a little bit. So you're almost in like a bridge position. So that foam roller is right at the base of the back. And we're actually just gonna hang out here for a moment. Try to be aware of releasing that core, the center of the body into your foam roller, maybe even lifting off one knee or both knees at the same time. Okay, and just notice if there's anything going on a little back. Maybe you can do a little bit of a windshield wiper small action. You just want to think of the right above the pelvis, that low back area. Maybe you want to hang out a little bit on the right side. And then maybe switch those knees over to the left side. Oh, feels so good. Just a little low back release. Plant those feet back down on towards the floor. Okay, you gotta gently roll yourself to the mid back. Okay, so now we're right in the middle of the spine. We're gonna take those hands in behind the head. Doing a little bit of breath work here, and you will notice your range. Maybe it's bigger or maybe it's smaller than mine. We're gonna think of like a crunch position. So as we come up, bring those elbows towards one another, round through the spine, big breath in, open the elbows, and thinking of looking up towards the ceiling, arching over your roller. Exhale to come up. Inhale to open. Oh, exhale to come up. Inhale to open. Good. Exhale to come up. Shift your roller back an inch or two. So now you're making your way towards the upper back. Continue that motion. Inhale. Open those elbows. Open the chest. Exhale to come up. Good. Inhale, open. Exhale to round off. Make that foam roller go up another inch or two, making our way up even higher. Oh, that feels good. Getting into those scapulas, breath in, open. Maybe you want to hang out there for a moment and just focus on the breath. Oh, that's so good. Inhale. You can stay or you can still do that rounded little crunch action. Who would have thought foam rolling in core? Inhale, open, exhale, around. Okay, we're going to maneuver that foam roller all the way up now to the neck. We're going in there. So base of the skull is on there. You're just going to take your head from right to left. Nice and slow. Close your eyes, giving yourself a little massage right there. And this often is quite intense for some people. Just breathing there, taking your head from right to left. And again, if there's a little stiffness, tightness, things going on, you can hang out and take a breath. And then maybe it's just coming back into center, closing your eyes, seeing if you can get some release through the back of the head, through the back of the neck. So good. You can release that foam roller. Maybe just take a moment to lower that head back down to the mat and just notice if you feel any, maybe length or release through that spine. I 100% do. Just spending that, like we did just about 15 minutes there through that whole body. You could compress that, do it shorter, or focus on the areas that you need. Plug those knees into the chest when you are ready, or maybe you want to hang out on your mat a little bit longer. You are done. A little 15-minute foam roll action. Amazing tool. Apply that where and when is needed for you. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you again soon, everyone. Bye.